Annyeong, it's Mikey here, and today I have actually a really interesting video because I don't know if you remember, I did a wooden keyboard video which I thought was a piece of art from Akko, which was the Mu02 and Mu01. Now, thank you to Womier, they sent me out the WD75. This is supposed to be an updated version of their WD75. They said they've improved it quite a bit, so we're gonna have to go straight into unboxing, see how this is, and of course compare it with the wooden boards that I've tried before. So let's go right into that, and please make sure to like and subscribe. Starting off with the unboxing of the Womier WD75. Thank you again, Womier, for sending me this out. Now, this is a wooden board. So let's open this up and take a look. First of all, accessories. Gonna be honest, the cable is your very basic, like, I would say more budget cable. You do get extra switches, a USB dongle, and extra feet for the bottom of the board, as well as a switch puller and keycap puller. So it is nice to see that they are providing some of these extra things, especially extra switches is really nice to have. Now, of course, we're gonna have to get this keyboard out. It was a little bit difficult to get out, but let's take a look to see what we're looking at with this board. Now, this is a wooden board from Womier. They did a really nice wood, and I'm gonna go into a little bit of the finish of it later. I think in general, the look of the wood is really nice. The keycaps, I'm gonna say, honestly, in my opinion, it's not the greatest, but let's do a weight before we do a sound test, and it weighs 969 grams. So we did the sound test, and now of course we're gonna have to take it apart to really see what we're looking at. So as soon as you get off the keycaps, first thing you're gonna notice is this is not flex cut. The plate is actually non-flex cut. Really nice to see. It's been a long time since I've seen a regular mechanical board without a flex cut from a pre-built board. Really nice that they did that. I really like to see more companies do this. It's really gonna be interesting to see more brands and companies stop doing this whole flex cut thing. Now, one thing I did notice is the stabilizers on these things are not great. Really do not like them. They are really, really loose and they break easily. One thing you'll notice right here too is as soon as I pulled off the things, the stabilizers are already coming loose. They're about to come out. If it wasn't for the switch, they would have actually been pulled out. They get really stuck in with the keycaps, and I actually broke mine. So I'll go into that a bit later. Now, we got some of the keycaps out. We have to find all the screws. So this is actually tray mounted. Tray mount meaning you're actually screwing in the whole board into the case. So it's not gasket mounted at all. It is tray mount, and you will be having to actually screw the board into the case. Now, let me show you guys where all the things are, right? You can see it from there, where it's going to be from the F1 to escape area to 5, F5, 6, F9, 10, and this way, if you are looking at it, you can actually see them too. Just looking above, you will be able to see these screws. Now, of course, removing all the screws, we're going to have to really get it all out, and then just remove the PCB. It actually comes out really easily once you do remove all the screws, and then we're going to look inside. Now we're going to clean up the space a little bit, move everything over, and really look inside the board itself. So as soon as we remove the plate and PCB, everything, we're going to have to remove the data cable, and then we're going to look inside. So this time comes with two 4,000 milliamp hour batteries, so total 8,000 milliamp hours. Really nice. As you can see there, a really wood finish in the middle as well. I mean, it's a wood case, and you can see there's mounting points. So you'll see that this board does have mounting points that you can actually use a screwdriver to really screw everything in. Now we can go and see really close up that these are plate mounted stabilizers, and they do come pre-lubed. the lubing on these ones are not bad. I don't know, honest, like I think that the work that they did for lubing wise, like you can really see it even, right? Like you can see it in the catch camera. They did lube it decently. Sorry, just the focus is a bit hard to get when it gets really close up, but you can see that they did pre-lube the stabilizers, and I would have to admit that you don't get that stabilizer ting as much with these ones. But the thing is it's hard to tell because these stabilizers aren't that great. Really, they really did a bad job with the stabilizers, and to be honest, and it really sounds bad, but some of them are muted with a lot of them. Now, the PCB, as you saw, was not flex cut either. Technically, it has no like cuts on the back of the PCB itself, but they're both 1.2. So the plate is looking at a 1.2 millimeters, and so is the PCB. I was hoping, gonna be honest with you, that it would be 1.6s for these. It would have been really nice if they did that. I think that would have been a really nice upgrade to this whole thing, is instead of the 1.2, if it's gonna be tray mounted, let's just go with 1.6 for both, and it would have been, I think, a much nicer board feel in total. Now, as you can see with like the side finishes with the mounting plates, you're gonna have to be careful with them, right? It's gonna be that when you are removing the screws, that it could kind of affect it. But it looks like we do have some room inside the board. So it's been a while since I've done this, but I'm gonna use the car dampeners and then actually add them to the bottom. And I'm also gonna do a 1-layer tape mod underneath the PCB foam. So right on top of the PCB, so I remove the foam and just do 1 layer of tape just to help with the whole board itself. I think this may help. I mean, we'll have to see with the modded sound test, of course, but having the tape mod plus the sound dampening should really help with like the whole resonating sounds inside a wooden board. And in general though, this board doesn't have like a lot of empty space, say compared to like the Mu02 did. Now we're going to put everything back together, and I'm actually not going to do any modifying on the stabilizers right now, and I'm going to give you guys like a modded sound test. But as you can see there, it wasn't really lining up properly, and it has a little bit of a slant. So we've done the unboxing, we've done the teardown, and we've done the sound test. What are my thoughts? Sound-wise, it just sounds like almost like any other mechanical keyboard that I've tried so far, like even the plastic ones. I honestly expected something a little bit more of like I guess more resonation from these switches, because with the wooden hollowness inside, like almost like a chamber, right? Like if you think about like a wooden chamber, I would have thought the sound would be a little bit more bouncy. I think due to how not like the very little spaces available inside, it might be the reason why. When I dealt with the Mu series with like Mu01, Mu02 with Echo, I found there's like a lot of empty space, which like I could hear the resonation from the wooden chamber inside of the board. This one really got a lot less of that. I think they could have done with different switches on these, honestly. A little bit more of like a thockier, deeper switch profile would have been a lot nicer in this specific board. The stabilizers also have a bit of an issue, so it's like kind of showing it's a bit loose, which is not great. But overall though, I love the design of it. I think the leaf design, like the green with the wood, does match, and it does give you a really cool look to it because it's like a wooden tree with like leaves on it. Very well done on that aspect into the design. I'm not a big fan of these type of keycaps. The feel of it is a little bit rough. I'm gonna have to go a little bit more in depth with it though, and show you guys like the software, compare this with the Mu0 series, and of course like a little bit more in depth of the things that I've noticed. So let's go right into that. Now, as you can see here, this is the wood finish on this board. It is nicely polished and it is quite smooth. The whole board itself is actually a little bit on the lower profile. I mean, it's not a low profile, but in terms of the height, you're not really getting a crazy height. The keycaps here are see-through green. I'm not a big fan of these keycaps, as if you can see it here, I don't know if you can really see it, you will see like it is layered with the actual writing on there, and it's not the greatest feeling when you are typing on them either. And also the lighting wise, it's going to be so green, but I'll explain that later. Now, as you can see here, the way that the screws are in the tray mounting for like where the N and M is, that one, I noticed that actually screw went like through the plate itself and actually makes it really like bent. And you can see that bend right there, which is not good. You don't want your PCB to bend. So after everything, like later on, I actually did remove everything. I removed the mods too, and then I fixed the whole screw so that it really was flat and the PCB wasn't bending. This is not a good thing to see. You don't really want your PCB to be bending or your plates to be bending. Over in the long run, it will affect it, and you don't want to damage your board. Now, bringing in the Mu02. So this is the Mu02. You can see my Mu02 is a little bit scuffed because I actually have been carrying and using it. This is a really nice board. I really do love how the Mu02 came out. They're both walnut wood. Sorry, not oak wood. They're walnut wood. And let me give you guys like a sound here. Overall, like you can hear a little bit more of a resonation inside the Mu02. It's actually because there's a lot more empty room inside the Mu02 compared to the WD75. Now the finish, the wood on the Mu02 is actually a bit of a nicer finish than the WD75. How I would explain it is that the WD75 is almost like when you buy yourself a wooden table, you know, like those dining tables made of wood. You know, the finish on those ones and like how it feels, it kind of feels like that kind of finish on it. Now the Mu02 on the other hand has more of a, I would say like a art piece or like a wooden, you know, decoration that you purchased, right? Like some kind of, say, lighting source or like something that has like a really nice smooth finish. That's the kind of feel I get. Like it's in terms of both quality feelings, that's the feelings I'm getting. One feels like it was a table that was just done and, you know, dining table type of finish. The other one feels more of like a wood that is like a figurine, like a wood figurine that was completed at the end. As you can tell, both have very different sound profiles to it. To be fair, they're using different switches, but the Mu02 is a gasket mounted board, while the WD75 is actually a tray mounted board. So they're both coming up with very different types of sound resonation from the board itself, as well as the keycaps are quite different. I think the keycaps on this pre-built WD75 are a little bit underwhelming, and I'm not a big fan of them. Like, I'm gonna try to get you guys to hear the scratchiness from it, the feeling that I'm getting from it. Like, hopefully you guys can really hear the sound that's coming from the keycap. So what that sound was is it's the engraving on the keycap itself. The engraving on there really does make it have like that weird finish to it, and I'm not a big fan of it. That's just something that I personally think is not the greatest, and really like the build quality of these keycaps is definitely more on the budget side, and you can really feel that with these keycaps. Like the thickness of them as well, like so you can see the side thickness is about 1.3. So you're looking at a 1.3 millimeter thickness on the keycaps themselves. And it just feels like it's not the highest quality keycaps you can get. I would highly suggest probably changing the keycaps themselves. The switch on this is the Womier palm switch, which is not bad actually. I like the palm switches. They're very smooth and it feels really great. It does work for gaming. I really didn't feel that they were very, very smooth for gaming. It's just the keycaps didn't feel great in terms of gaming. They're very slippery in terms of like the actual keycaps themselves. They're not actually bad for stem mobile either. I'm sorry that I didn't really remove it there and to give you guys like a full step mobile test there, but really these ones have like very little stem mobile because they're like a box stem, which is really nice. And it does have a light diffuser on there as well, which allows you to have that lighting. And you also get these switches on the top, which is awesome. So this is a huge bonus. The fact that the switches are very easily accessible compared to say the Mu 2, which is actually under the tab. That's something I really did not enjoy, or actually on the cap lock. It's really nice to have these like toggles available easily without you having to remove a key. It's something that I really love to see with more boards actually. Now, of course, let me give you guys like the backlighting test. And as you can see here, that green really affects the lighting a lot. But the board itself looks really nice. It is quite bright in terms of the lighting. As you can see there, right, you're looking at like the brightness. I'm bringing all the way down to 0 and then 1 and then bring up 2, 3 and then 4. And that's the brightest you'll get it at is at level 4. It is very, very bright. The lighting will be more accurate than what is being shown here. And the reason it looks like this is because, again, the keycaps really do affect the lighting a lot. You're going to get that green lighting coming through because of the green keycaps. And some people might not enjoy that. Some people might. Honestly, the whole theme of it makes sense, right? It's like a green on wood, which is like a foresty look to it. I just think that they probably could have done a regular non-see-through green keycap and it would have looked a lot nicer and a lot cleaner. Like a regular PBT keycap that is not transparent would have looked incredibly nice. Now, as you can see, like with the switches without the keycaps, the lighting looks definitely a lot cleaner, a lot like more accurate with it compared to the ones with the keycaps on it. And it makes a big difference. I really did appreciate it. And it does have very, very bright lighting. Like these switches have the really nice light diffuser and it works well with it. So I again highly suggest you should probably replace the keycaps with something else with these ones. I think maybe just a pure black would have been really nice. Now going onto the website, we can see that this board is $85.99 without the keycaps at all. You're looking at $75.99. I'm going to be completely honest. I thought that this one would be priced at a much higher price. That was my original anticipation, that because it's a wooden board, most likely Womier is going to price at like 110, something like that, or 100, maybe 20. The pricing actually on this thing is really good. Really, really surprised of like the pricing that they put. The PCB is 1.2 millimeters, as I said, right? FF4. It's a tray mount, as I was mentioning. It has the 8,000 milliamp hour battery. I would highly recommend, if you're going to get this one, to not get the one with the keycaps on them. Honestly, like that's my real honest opinion. I really think you should not get the ones with the keycaps. Like when they have these images here, see the one with the black? That's super clean. I actually really like that look. They even have one with like the mole profile keycaps, which looks really nice as well. I honestly wish they did that. Like they have images of it. It would have been really nice if they actually just went with that. That would have been super cool. Now, of course, using the keyboard inspector, we can see that it is 1,000 polling rate. So really, it's fine for gaming. It's not going to be like your high-end gaming keyboard with like 8K and Hall effect and rapid trigger. But you know what? 1K, more than enough for gaming. And this is VIA compatible. The Mu 2 is not VIA compatible, by the way. That thing, you needed the Aqua Cloud driver. This one is VIA compatible. That on its own is already a huge bonus. I was very surprised, very shocked. And I gotta say, great job, Womier, for actually doing the VIA support. Super, super good to have it with VIA, which allows you to really easily mod things for this board. This is something that really you need to give them like props for. Now, of course, taking a look at the Mu 2, this is 140 USD. You can see there's a huge price difference, right? With the keycaps at $85.99, right? And $140. So even if you compare it like 86 to 140, you're looking at saving a good $60. That is a very good savings on a board like this. I do really like the Mu 2. Honestly, the keycaps, like the switches and the keycaps that come with it, are super nice. But when I consider the price, the WD75 really looks compelling. And I think, yeah, like when you consider you get VIA and you get 8,000 mAh battery with it, I would definitely say that this is a good pickup. Like this is a very, very good pickup compared to it because of the huge money savings that you're going to get. And you get quite a bit more with it. The WD75 overall, there are definitely some things that is not good, right? Like I wish that they had a spot for the USB dongle instead of you having to have on the side and possibly lose it. The stabilizers on things are horrible. I'm gonna be honest, they're very bad. I actually broke the enter key one. When I compare it, right, you're looking at two 75% boards that are really well done with wood. I would love to see a lot more companies do wood. And honestly, you get two different types of sound profiles, right? I personally love Aqua switches a lot more. I think they did a really great job with Aqua switches on this board. Sounds amazing. While the WD75, I would say the sound profile wise is a little bit on the clackier, not the nicest sounding for when you consider a wood board and what you would expect from a wood board, and you don't get a volume knob like the Mu02 does. I would say that if they had a pure barebone kit, the WD75 would be really, really cool, right? I would highly suggest like getting your own switches and keycaps for it, something like a bit thockier, and the keycaps to be just a nicer keycaps. I've also changed the stabilizers out for the WD75. I actually replaced all of mine with designer studio ones. Trust me, it'll save your life with it. But let me give you a sound comparison with the Mu02 and the WD. And one of the things that like I think you could really do is with the switches wise is like you'll save quite a lot of money with this, by the way, is you can get the Y3 switches, and these are going to sound really, really nice with the board. And I can even give you guys like a little bit of a sample here what it would sound like. These are super budget switches that could really help with this board in terms of sound and really make it sound a lot nicer with it. And of course, I'll even do it with like a comparison with the Mu02 too. Overall, I would say the WD75 for the price is an incredible grab. You should get the ones without the keycaps and get your own, right? And you'll still have probably saved a lot more money compared to buying Mu02. And on all honesty, you will have saved a lot more money because $85.99, buy yourself like keycaps on AliExpress for like $20, and then buy yourself like a $30 set of switches, and you'll actually come out a little bit cheaper. Yeah. So change the stabilizers, do all that, and I think this is going to be a really good grab for yourself. Now, I hope you found this video helpful. Go check out the WD75. It's a very different type of board where compared to the Mu series. In terms of even the thickness and like the design of it, it's going to be very. I hope this video helped you guys in terms of figuring out if this is one for you. I like the wood series boards. I think wood is really cool, and I would love to see more companies kind of do something different with them. I love the Muse series. Honestly, that was like one of my favorite boards that I've ever tried, and I still have today, which is the Mu02. This one is interesting. I would probably do something a little bit different to it. Honestly, I'd probably change out the keycaps completely. I'd probably change out the switches as well. I think on this one, I would probably do a little bit more of like a more cleaner, simpler keycap set, and then do like the Keybay Blue Cheese V2 in here. I think that would be really cool in terms of like the whole board and sound wise. I do love 75%, and I do appreciate this. It would have been nice if they also provided like polishing to keep like the wax, beeswax, so just like if you can actually kind of maintain this a little bit more like the Aqua did. That's a little bit disappointing. Maybe they will actually make a change and add that in. That'd be really cool. I'll have the links in the description. Go check it out. And of course, check out the other videos I got. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll have to catch you guys next time.